Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of got something through a job agency too, but at the same time, it kind of annoys me because, I mean, they help you, right? But it comes with a lot of BS. You know, like oh, you got to do this one thing, but then there's another. Like it's hard to get to like the job aspect of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, here it's easy. I usually go back to the same ones I've used before, so they have most of my stuff on file.
Yeah, Canada,
But
you lucky socialist bastards.
no, it's no. These are like temp agencies, like actual private companies,
Mm.
not people through the like a local like a employment agency peoples. But what I find is most of the employers you do get placed with, they don't actually want you. They just want someone to stand by a machine.
Right.
So as soon as you ask a question like "Where's the washroom?" Well, that's an attitude. You're fired. It's like what you want me to crap on the
And
floor?
one
Well,
thing
that's
I'll
more
tell you.
attitude. You're fired. It's some of the supervisors you get are like right dickheads and should not be supervisors.
Right. See, the thing in my situation, right, is that I don't mind doing it because I mean it's business administration, right?
Yeah,
The way they got it set up, they want me to run like to do some tests, right, to just see where my skill set is, which
yeah,
I don't mind doing. But the thing is, I have to download the software and then reboot my entire computer, and it's like all this shit just so I can see like what particular job I can do. I mean, one would think that you could just
yeah. You see, where what I'm doing though is when they want to do those tests, you don't do them from home. You go to their office and they have all this stuff there. Then you sit down and do it there.
well, I think I'll see what I could do.
Yeah,
Hopefully Tuesday.
yeah.
Oh, where's my letter at? And wherever, who knows? Anyway, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is What Up Secular America, hosted by Wolf King. So we got chill spills, random vids, and crazy people to make fun of. How you doing today, Sudo?
All right.
Okay, that's good to know. I think I might see. What was that? Pirates of the Caribbean?
I don't know. Is there like another one of those out?
Yeah, I think.
I thought they kind of finished that series off, didn't they?
I think they're trying to make a grand finale or some shit. I have no idea.
You mean to tell me that going to like the center of the ocean and whirling around this gigantic whirlpool was not a final finale?
I mean, shit. I don't know. Like, I think they're trying to Harry Potter that shit to the end. Like,
Okay, yeah.
yeah. Okay, what do we got? What do we got? Oh, this fucker. Okay, there's this crazy ass guy by the name of A Call for an Uprising. Let's
That's
see.
his name?
Yeah, well, his YouTube name.
Call for an uprising.
Yeah.
And what is he uprising a call for?
Uh, and random things that trigger his crazy ass.
Oh,
Yeah, he's really paranoid. I kind of want him to come onto the channel, but I don't think it'll be able to happen just based on his personality. But he's complaining about the after school Satan club spreading to the Bible Belt. So
the after school Satan Club? What?
yeah, let's watch the video and see.
Is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. I have to do this video because I have to continue to keep people informed with what is going on with the after school Satan program. It's important for people to know this if it's coming to their state, to their town, so they can do something about it. And what they can do is they can go and protest to the school board. They can pull their children out of these schools because, like I've said a million times, and I'll say it a trillion more, these after-school Satan programs, which are there to indoctrinate and lead children towards Satanism, indoctrinate them with magic and witchcraft, even though they pretend that it's an after-school science club, despite that, the Satanic
Okay.
schools that hand out.
Mm-hmm.
Now I see what he means by magic. You mean chemistry and physics.
Yeah, they. Yeah, it's just for shits and giggles, just for laughs. I
Now,
mean,
is it actually called the After School Satan Club, or is it called the After School Science Club?
no, it's called the After School Satan Club. They happen to teach science as the main lesson plan in the after school club. Science, rationalism, like probably hear some nice.
So who's sponsoring this program?
I think the Reason Alliance through into the Satan club.
And you wonder why the crazy Christians don't like atheists.
Well, I mean, it's sort of similar to what I was doing in the into that chat the other day with some of those other Christians like Beckel and those guys in there. I was just posting satanic imagery in there, and they just got triggered. They just lapped it up. It's pretty funny. It's funny to fuck with.
No, but you understand that when you're trying to promote science and education, and then someone creates a group like this, and they are part of your own camp, then it makes it difficult for you to do what you're trying to do.
I disagree. It's more
no. It's because the way they named it, it puts a target on it, and then the crazies will attack it. And therefore they attack what that group does, and therefore they also attack what you're doing when you're promoting science and education.
Yeah, but I mean, that's like the irony in it, right? I mean, because
but you see, when you're trying to promote science and education and get away from the crazy crap that they're doing, you don't use irony.
I mean, okay, look at it from this angle, right? It's a separation of church and state issue. You can't have one group talking about one particular belief system and leave others out, right? I mean, that's the reality of the situation. I mean, that's like a First Amendment issue. That's why they're having other groups, like in this case, the After School Satan Club, come in and counter it. They're evangelizing and proselytizing.
Well, let's see what Snopes has to say.
Yeah.
It's a mix. It's true, but false. Okay.
Christian doctrine, and they hand out their satanic coloring book, which is filled with teaching kids how to draw pentagrams, how to perform magic, making magic look fun, showing them the Baphomet, all sorts of just hypocritical crap, because they expect the lukewarm Christian to not care. They expect the lukewarm Christian to think it's no big deal because they know that they can keep them under my control. Well, not this Christian, because I'm not lukewarm, and I do care very much so about the youth of this world, very much so about these children who are innocently being targeted by these scumbag low-life Satanists. As most of you remember, Mr. Pigman Eye here, this guy with one color, one eye, and no color in the other eye. Looks like somebody might have shot something in his eye, if you get my drift.
Maybe somebody did shoot something in his eye.
This guy, he is. Yeah, there's a lot of butthurt in his voice, a lot of anger in his voice.
Who, the calling for the uprising?
Yeah.
What is a lukewarm Christian? What are the other temperatures, like stone cold and firebranding hot? Like,
I don't know, bad shit fundamental. Okay. There's the Christian Taliban, which is the right wing fundamentalists, and then you have your fair weather Christians, your moderates. So I think that's what he's referring to.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So why does this guy have one dark eye, one light eye? Like, is he heterochromic or? Yeah.
That issue where you have two different
color eyes. This one happens to be a much lighter color.
But knowing this motherfucker, knowing this guy, you might think there's something like mystical about that or something.
Oh yeah, definitely.
One of the leaders of the Satanic Temple. He is targeting innocent children around the country. He is targeting schools to get this program in, and he is threatening with lawsuits if they do not allow the after-school Satan program into the public school systems. And right now they're targeting schools that have Christian after-school programs. They're already getting away with it in a few states. And like I said, with all these things that they do to indoctrinate people, they get it in there. At first, people are a little skeptical. Then they come out and they go, look, nothing bad's happened. The boogeyman hasn't shown up. Your kid's not at home killing animals. Your kid's not at home committing human sacrifice. All these Christians are lunatics. It's not a big deal. These kids are actually being more, useful in society. They're being less hateful because we're pulling them away from Christianity and the Bible. They try to preach that the Bible's filled with hate, that our God is a God of hate and jealousy. It's all ridiculous crap.
Well, yeah, I mean, that is kind of true for the most part. I mean, it's
okay. I'm reading Snopes here. The truthful part about behind this, what's been going on here, is the organization called the Satanic Temple seeks to institute after-school Satan clubs in public elementary schools to counter what they see as religious, air quote, indoctrination by Christian programs such as the Good News Club.
Right.
Now, the false part behind what's being said is after-school Satan clubs are aimed at teaching children to believe in supernatural beings named Satan and perform satanic rituals.
Yeah, that's actually the propaganda.
Well, yeah, the propaganda is always going to come along.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but other than that, there's no sacrifices, there's no witchcraft, just some kids learn science and trolling religious people. Yeah. All in good fun.
Satanist spew. The media eats it up because obviously the media is in cahoots with them. But let me get to the point of this story after explaining a little bit about this after-school Satan program, and I'll get back into it at the end here. The school is now planning to hit the Bible Belt. The after-school Satan program is hitting the Bible Belt. Beginning in the fall, Texas will now be targeted and will now be introducing this after-school Satan program into its public schools. It's an article from a local ABC affiliate says a new religious program led by Satanists is pushing to expand into the Bible Belt this fall. It's called the After School Satan Club, and instead of worship, it teaches activism. Oh my goodness, is that so? Let's look at the things the After School Satan program is active in promoting. Pro-abortion. I wonder why. Oh, they'll tell you it's because they care so much about women's rights and they care so much about women and they just want to do what's in the best interest of women. They don't talk about how these women who get pregnant shouldn't be spreading their legs and shouldn't be getting pregnant in the first place.
Wow, okay. That's
someone should maybe tell Mr. Call to Arms here that his mom spread his legs.
Yeah. Yeah, I just feel like that's sort of irrelevant to the issue of what kids learn in school. Yeah. I mean, that's more of a different issue, but whatever.
No, they say it's about a woman's right. So why is it that they target Christians or anybody who is anti-abortion? Not because they care about women's rights, because it's about the sacrifice of the child. These children who are aborted, these fetuses that are aborted, are used in satanic rituals. The fetuses, the dead babies that come out, they take them, they ship them around, they eat them. They are cannibals, these people. They don't just bury them. They need these abortions.
Hey, retarded lunatic, here's a magic idea for you. Here's just something to expound upon. If you're so against abortions, just why don't you support sex ed in schools, like more of that stuff?
Yeah, so that you don't get the unwanted pregnancy, which leads to the abortion.
Yeah, I read a study, dude. Like, there's a study. If every woman in America had access to birth control, we're looking at like less intended pregnancies, less abortions, saving like $12 billion a year. But facts don't matter in this case. Let's talk about conspiracy theories.
Yeah, or at least just teach them where babies come from and how they're made.
Yeah.
So that they'd understand that, oh, that's why you got pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
Children for rituals. This isn't like back in the day where they had to literally start kidnapping young kids, even though they still do that. Now people are willingly giving their children up as ritual sacrifices to these people as their satanic covens continue to grow around this country. So they teach activism, folks. Yep. And if you go look at their website, the only things that they go against is they go against anyone who is against abortion, and they go against
Pause this for a second.
Satan.
If we go down to the comments section, how many trolls does this guy have that all have like little pentagrams and goat heads and stuff for their icons?
I think there are a few of them. Let's see. Ass play.
Wow, okay.
I don't know. Craziness.
Satanic ritual.
Yeah.
What a surprise. They go against anyone who claims that SRA, satanic ritual abuse, is real. Anyone who believes MK Ultra and trauma-based mind control is real.
Okay, here we go.
They care about. Those are the only things they target. Must be.
So anybody superstitious.
9/11's an inside job.
Yeah, so anyone who's superstitious and bad shit, they troll for laughs.
He went right to MK Ultra.
Holy shit.
Oh my god. Let's see if he ties the moon landing into this.
Eesh. I mean, he is lousy. What I like about him is that he covers extensively activities done by the Satanic Temple, and it makes good material. Just hearing this guy rant about it. But yeah, all right, we're moving on. Let's see what else we got here. What's prayer you bitching about? Okay. No. All right, what else we got? Islam and terrorism. No. Yeah, sure, why not? Keep it equal.
I attended madrasas, that is Islamic
Sweet. Ayan Ali, nice.
schools, and memorized large parts of the Quran. As a child, I lived in Mecca for a time and frequently visited the Grand Mosque. As a teenager, I sympathized with the Muslim Brotherhood. At 22, while my family was living in Kenya, my father arranged my marriage to a member of our family clan, a man that I had never met. I ran away, made my way to Holland, studied there, and eventually was elected a member of the Dutch Parliament. Now, in
Excellent. That's pretty good.
the United States. In short, I have seen Islam from the inside and the outside. I believe that a reform of Islam is necessary and possible, and only Muslims can make that reform a reality. But we in the West cannot remain on the sidelines as though the outcome of this struggle has nothing to do with us. If the jihadists win and the hope for a reformed Islam dies, the rest of the world will pay a terrible price. The terror attacks in New York, London, Madrid, Paris, and many other places are only a preview for what's to come. For this reason, I believe that it's foolish to insist, as Western leaders habitually do, that the violent acts committed in the name of Islam can somehow be divorced from the religion itself.
Hey, Pseudo, what do you think of this stuff so far?
This is a real touchy topic at times.
I think she's speaking of a lot of truth in this. I think this might very well be the one PragerU video that actually makes sense.
What is PragerU?
I don't know. It's this site that sort of puts out videos. I mean, they're usually in the conservative camp, but in this case, they're correct.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I'm not saying like every friggin', I'm not saying every Muslim is a crazy Islamic fundamentalist, but it's you can't say it's a religion of peace when crazy atrocity after atrocity has been going on, saying that they're trying to defend Islam against the West by way of violence and shit.
Mm-hmm.
I think the main crux of what I'm saying here, I agree with her main point that a reform of Islam is necessary. I don't know if it's possible on the sake of Muslims, but there really needs to be something done about it, at least to reduce it.
Yeah.
For more than a decade, my message has been simple. Islam is not a religion of peace. When I assert this, I do not mean that Islamic belief makes all Muslims violent. This is manifestly not the case. There are many millions of peaceful Muslims in the world. What I do say is that the call to violence and the justification for it are explicitly stated in the sacred texts of Islam. Moreover, this theologically sanctioned violence is there to be activated by any number of offenses, including but not limited to adultery, blasphemy, homosexuality, and apostasy, that is to leave Islam. Those who tolerate this intolerance do so at their peril. As someone who has known what it is to live without freedom, I watch in amazement as those who call themselves liberals and progressives, people who claim to believe so fervently in individual liberty and minority rights, make common cause with the forces in the world that manifestly pose the greatest threat to that very freedom and those very minorities. In 2014, I was invited to accept an honorary degree from Brandeis University for the work I have done on behalf of women's rights in the Muslim world. That invitation was withdrawn after professors and students protested my criticism of Islam. My subsequent
SJWs.
Go get your chalk circles, everyone.
Calling for a safe space. Nah, but this is that's just ridiculous that she got disinvited. I mean, it's not like she's saying death to Muslims or anything like that, or that all Muslims are pieces of shit. She's just giving valid criticisms.
Yeah.
Okay, but let's see what was the main reason.
This invitation, as it came to be called, was no favor to Muslims, just the opposite. By labeling critical examination of Islam as inherently racist, we make the chances of reformation far less likely. There are no limits on criticism of Christianity at American universities or anywhere else for that matter. Why should there be of Islam? Instead of contorting Western intellectual traditions so as not to offend our Muslim fellow citizens, we need to defend both those traditions and the Muslim dissidents who take great risks to promote them.
Taking the words right out of my mouth. I mean, Islam isn't a race. It's an ideology. It's valid to criticize the ideology if it has negative consequences for people. So, I mean, it's not like it's a hate crime to criticize one's religion. I mean, we just got done criticizing that call for an uprising guy for losing his shit over having another what, after school program that was an alternative to the Good News Bible Club or whatever the fuck it was called. So
yeah, but he's fighting with a salvation issue.
Yeah, but at the same time, he was kind of putting on, crazy conspiracy nonsense and all that.
Oh no, it's a salvation issue for him. He believes he is saved, and if he touches anything that's tainted or dirty, he'll be unsaved, and therefore he's lost forever.
Yeah, Christian Taliban. I mean,
he's following it. That's why he's going on. They're eating babies, and abortion's bad, and all this. Like, oh, for fuck's sakes.
I mean, yeah. Well, that's usually you usually hear that in the United States with people with no policy substance in their arguments. I mean, that's sort of the kind of guy that craves the theocracy but doesn't know a decent way to argue for it.
Yeah.
All right, back to this. This is a pretty good video. That's what I'm talking about.
We should support these brave men and women in every way possible. Imagine a platform for Muslim dissidents that communicated their message through YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. These are the Muslims we should be supporting, for our sake as much as for the sake of Islam. In the Cold War, the West celebrated dissidents such as Alexander Solzhenitsyn, Andrei Sakharov, and Václav Havel, who had the courage to challenge the Soviet system from within. Today, there are many dissidents who challenge Islam, but the West either ignores them or dismisses them as not representative. This is a grave mistake. Reformers such as Tawfiq Hamid, Asra Nomani, and Zuhid Jasser, and many others must be supported and protected. They should be as well known as Solzhenitsyn, Sakharov, and Havel were in the 1980s. If we do in fact support political, social, and religious freedom, then we cannot in good conscience give Islam a free pass on the grounds of multicultural sensitivity. We need to say to Muslims living in the West, If you want to live in our societies, to share in the material benefits, then you need to accept that our freedoms are not optional. Islam is
This lady speaking truth. She's very erudite. I like the message. I'll stick a pipe at. Busudo, what do you think? Are you incongruent, or you see like an issue with it, or hello?
I'd have to get more information. I'm not up on some of this stuff.
Okay, fair enough.
at the crossroads of reformation or self-destruction. But so is the West. I'm Ayaan Hirsi Ali of Harvard University for Prager University.
Okay. Not to be biased, but I don't know who the fuck this guy is. I don't care.
Okay.
No, but she was speaking a lot of a lot of decent facts and points that I would agree with.
Yeah.
Yeah, Islam not being a religion of peace, I think that's a valid statement to make. Yeah, it's not a race, so you can criticize it, and you need to be just as objective with like the criticisms of the religion and actually maintaining like that free exchange of ideas, so people could actually be able to like compete to see like what actual statement is like stands out as truth over all the rest. So I think that's an important thing we have in Western civilization. That's what makes us like the best, and that's our strength, and we need to emphasize more of that. And in fact, that actually brings me to an important. I wouldn't say it's a crucial issue in this related to it. You ever heard of a guy by the name of Amos Yee?
Say again.
Amos Yee. He's a Singaporean YouTuber who's an atheist.
Is that the guy that made all the videos and got arrested?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard of him. I haven't followed anything that's happened to him.
Yeah, he actually he stopped making videos for quite a while. I heard he moved to the States. He got into some
he got the legal hot water, didn't he?
Yeah. Well, yeah, he was, this kid's been in legal shit before, like, with regard to his YouTube channel. Like, he got arrested before for like upsetting the feelings of Christians and Muslims. He recently, at least I heard this, he recently moved out of Singapore, which I was kind of encouraging. Not directly, but just in my videos that, if he's getting arrested in his country, that maybe he should like take his passport and all his material and his goods and leave that country, so he could be able to speak his mind in a more open setting. That that wouldn't lock him up every 5 minutes because he spoke his mind. Let me just look at this. Okay, yeah, he was granted political asylum. He fled to the U.S. On December 16, 2016. He was detained at Chicago airport after announcing his intention to seek political asylum. He was granted asylum in March 24, 2017, after the judge ruled that Yee faced persecution in Singapore for his political opinions, and states authorities used strict rules on free speech to constrain dissent. Okay, on April 25th, 2017, the U.S. government appealed against the decision to grant him asylum. Yee will be continued to be held at the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Center during the appeal process. But yeah, that is an interesting story. But it just goes to show how deep free speech and like freedom of expression goes. You know what I mean? Against sacred cows and all that.
Yeah.
All right. What else we got? Killer Puppies, First Lady. First class, first lady, yeah. Coalition, crybabyologist. Okay, I'm just gonna guess one. Wild Bill, America's crybabyologist.
Hello, everybody. Wild Bill for America here. And I've had fun billing myself as America's leading liberalologist with the goal of curing liberalism in our lifetime. And now, after witnessing the childish meltdowns of America's college students, I'm adding a subspecialty, crybabyology, the study of liberal-induced regression that turns teenagers into whiny, tantrum-throwing mental infants. Higher education in this country has gone from being a national disgrace to being an outright clown show. The latest crybaby incident comes from Skidmore College in New York. Somebody wrote, "Make America Great Again" on the boards in 3 classrooms, and the liberal Looney Tunes are freaking out like it was a chemical weapons attack. The school's, get this, bias response group has declared the writing to be a racially motivated attack. Gee, I wonder how biased you have to be to serve on that committee. Make America Great Again is now a racist attack. Earlier in the year, the name Trump was written in chalk on some stickers. The investigation determined that it was.
Well, okay, I'll say this. I'm not seeing a source for this. Now that being said, I'm not saying he's lying. I mean, you know, who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe for all I know, maybe it could be true, or there could be a grain of truth there. Maybe. I'll say this.
But Wild Bill is also a bit of a. I've heard of this guy before in the past.
No. I know. I just want to get this point. I just want to finish this point.
Oh yeah.
I will say this about this guy. You know, while it might be true that there have been some SJW incidents that have gone on that have been, you know, a little bit exaggerated on the individual part, I don't think you could really claim that you're a crybabyologist when your side is kind of, anytime they don't get their way politically, it's tantamount to persecution or some kind of conspiracy. I don't think you could really call yourself a crybabyologist when your side is kind of, you know, went on a batshit crazy train of anytime our political wants and needs aren't met, we're persecuted. I think you guys like that's the original fucking victim complex if I have ever seen it. What do you think, Pseudo?
Yeah. But it goes from both sides.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
You know.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, you know, like he made like a list of ad homs, and I'm all like, dude, come on, like be objective for 5 fucking minutes, or at least 5 seconds.
Terrorizing some students. Some of these knucklehead students are reported to be collapsing in fear that Donald Trump is coming to kill them. Overpaid and no doubt useless psychological counselors are making a ton of money pandering to these disgraceful students. Want to solve the problem? Take the money that's being paid to liberal psychobabble counselors and hire a few retired Marine Corps drill instructors to straighten those pansies out. Now that would be a proper use of taxpayer money. Now, who in the world would give a job to a college graduate who wets their diapers whenever they see or hear a conservative viewpoint? Now, if Congress has a lick of sense, they would.
Well, I don't think you really need to do that. Just don't ban people that views necessarily disagree with yours, and actually challenge them to come up with arguments to refute your retarded claims. Like, for example, I believe I could talk to this guy for about a few minutes and instantly destroy his worldview and have the crumbles that represents his ignorance or like tumbling around him and just leave him friggin' psychologically scarred just as a result of that. But what do you think?
I'd have to go find something for you, Wolf. But there's a guy out there who runs a company, and his hiring practices, he uses what is a snowflake filter.
What, for people that, you know, have the capacity?
Basically, he wants to hire people who can do the job, not people who like this guy's saying, like the whiny cry SJ, it's to get rid of the SJW crap out of a workplace. It doesn't mean they don't get hired. It's the types of questions you ask. And he never set out to create the filter, but other companies found out how he's doing the hiring, and they want him now to show them how to do this, basically make that kind of program for them.
Yeah.
And consult for them. And the guy doesn't actually do that. It was just, he was sick and tired of having to hold everybody's hand in the office.
Yeah, right. I mean, I would know. I went to a trade school.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it was a good investment, saved money, didn't have to go and worry about student loan debt or anything like that. And I ignored and avoided the SJW influence. Just treat everyone, you know, fair and equally and all that, and it's all good. All right.
Cut off funding to these so-called colleges that are turning young Americans into basket case crybabies. In fact, I'm going to suggest that to the Constitution Party to be a part of their political platform. No more tax dollars to schools that promote racial hatred, family-killing feminism, anti-American bigotry, and the destruction of moral standards. It's pretty clear that the current crop of politicians won't do anything, and that's why America needs real men and women of character to step up and do what Americans are supposed to do: defend and promote the traditional faith and principles upon which this nation was founded. It's time.
Nah, this is a secular country, motherfucker. This is secular America. Yeah, read the Constitution. Congress shall make no law respecting the establishment of religion, so fuck right off. Yeah, not in my country. Okay. Moving on. All right, what else we got? Dave Dobbenmeyer. All right, let's see what that retard's talking about. Oh, wait, just the wrong one. Never
Let's
mind.
take a moment and discern the spirits. In this story, we have actors on stage performing a play about homosexuality and transgenderism. And then you have children in the audience.
What play is that?
The Catholic Church, which...
What play is this guy talking about? If you're going to say there were actors on stage performing a play, okay, what's the name of the play?
Religious right activist Gordon Klingschmidt praised a Catholic school district in Canada for canceling several scheduled performances of a play about gender identity, saying that by doing so, the administrators were protecting innocent children from demon-possessed LGBTQ activists who are trying to recruit them into homosexuality.
Okay, this is on Right Wing Watch. Okay, give me a moment. I got a runaway keyboard here. I'll be right back. And then I'm going to look something up.
All right. And while you do that, I'm just going to play more of this clip.
Runs that school district. Those are just the human actors in this play. Where are the spirits? How do you discern what the Spirit of God is saying and who that is influencing? Or what the demonic spirits of Satan himself are doing behind the scenes, perhaps? The way you discern that is by looking at the morality of the human actors and how they are being influenced. To personally choose holiness means they're influenced by God, or to choose sin means that they're influenced by evil. Well, in this case, you see the influencing is having a double effect, right? There's two layers of the influencing. First of all, the evil spirits are influencing the homosexual recruiters. And then the homosexual recruiters are using and influencing the children and causing them maybe to choose gender confusion, causing the children to choose homosexuality, causing the children to participate.
Actually, speaking of gender confusion, this guy kind of reminds me of Mr. Garrison from South Park. Ironically, the character that sort of got like a discovery about him being gay, if not like transgender, and then back into the man again. But yeah, this is a derpy ass face. No, but I don't know, to take something that's completely political in its nature and make it out to be some kind of supernatural occurrence, I mean, that's just batshit insane. It seemed that there was a message that wanted to be pushed and it got censored. That's it.
With the demonic spirits that are already at work inside of the actors. The homosexual activists are already demonized.
All right, I'm back.
They want the children to be that too? And Roman Catholic children?
Yeah, doesn't this guy kind of look like, doesn't he kind of look like Mr. Garrison a bit? From South Park?
No, not really.
Yeah, I know.
Here's the thing, though. This guy's on right-wing watch. Okay, they're basically trying now to save the Catholic children. But have they ever made comments that are anti-Catholic?
I don't know. I think it's kind of weird. You know, you're talking about homosexual.
Yeah, it's a spectrum. It's a spectrum.
I mean, it's weird saying that gay activists are demon possessed when, I mean, you're talking about Roman Catholicism. You realize how many like child's butts have been like have been unnecessarily abused as at the result of their priests. I mean, it's like fucking detrimental. I mean, you're bitching about them having a play about gender identity. I don't know. I mean, I'm not, you know, it's not like I'm gung ho about that shit, but I'm not, but to make it out to be like some kind of weird superstitious thing. I mean, you're irrational. I mean, look at this fuck. Like, this is the look of a deranged person.
Well, apparently this play has been canceled in Nigeria as well.
Yeah. I mean, who knows?
Gee, don't you think the Roman Catholic parents ought to have a say in whether or not their children is violated at their school?
Again, you have to really consider that with the parishes. Anyway.
Okay. Of the 5 Catholic elementary schools in Ontario, because that's what they mentioned about Catholic school boards in Canada, the play was canceled not because of its content, but rather because it was not age appropriate.
Okay.
So yes, the content they felt was not age appropriate for the group they were doing it for.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was suspecting that. I wasn't.
It wasn't Nigeria. It was it's Niagara, which is it's like south tip of Ontario down by the lakes. So it wasn't the Catholic, because you got to remember the Catholic school board here in Canada is not like this vast thing of, it's like a public school.
Right.
Okay.
Right. I get
So
it.
there's different boards in different cities. So it was one local area. It was 5 schools.
Thanks for granting me that context.
Yeah.
But yeah, like
that's because they'll take it completely out of context for whatever they want.
Yeah. All right, we're moving on. Let's have a little fun here. Let's get into some laughs. Okay, we're looking at the Red Pill Euro Horror by Side 10.
Hello, follow me.
Who is that?
Come, I can help you get into Europe where you will be safe.
Why is she displaying her hair in public? She does not even have a male chaperone. She has not even covered her wrists. She is a whore.
No.
Let's rape her.
Yay!
Wait. How How is she doing that? She is not a whore. She is a djinn. A djinn. Ah!
You all right, darling?
What happened?
Don't worry, you are safe here.
Where am I?
You're in the United Kingdom.
United Kingdom? Oh my God, no!
What's wrong?
What's wrong? You guys voted to leave my beloved European Union, and that makes you all racists.
Really? Does that include me?
Oh, fucking hell, it's Diane Abbott. Shit.
No, I didn't mean you. I don't even think of you as...
As what? As a British citizen?
No, I mean I don't think of you as a racist.
Well, actually, she did write that whole white people love to play divide and rule thing on Twitter.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did. It's right here. Look.
Fuck off. Fuck you.
So how many of you actually voted to leave the EU?
I do have that figure.
So yeah, parody about the EU. It's pretty funny.
I'd just like to say, Wolf, did you realize that the woman was possibly voiced by Gary Phony Beatlemaniac?
Probably, yeah.
It's a Salford accent.
Oh, nice.
300,000.
Seriously? That's only about 0.4% of the population.
No. The actual number is 80 million.
80 million? But there aren't even that number of people in the whole country.
Psst, I think you mean 17.4 million.
Oh, yeah, that's what I said.
No, it's not.
The point is, look, I'm not saying that everyone who voted for Brexit is a racist. I'm just saying that those people who are racist definitely voted for Brexit.
What does that even mean?
What does what mean?
Well, it's just a completely pointless statement. You may as well say something like, I'm not saying that all invertebrates are jellyfish, but the ones that are jellyfish are definitely invertebrates.
Oh, yeah. I never...
Huh. It's weird. The EU fairies, like, accents only got French.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, it's crazy. But yeah, that statement about people voting for Brexit being racist, yeah, that would be meaningless. That's just circular.
I like the jellyfish comment.
Yeah, that was a pretty good analogy. I like Saitan. He is really a good like video maker.
Notice that? Basically, she started off by describing the characteristics of a specific subgroup and then linked that subgroup to an unrelated characteristic of the group as a whole.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, that is pretty much exactly what you did.
You're putting words in my mouth.
Oh, I got one. I'm not saying, that all even numbers end in a 2. I'm just saying that every number that does end in a 2 is definitely an even number.
Yes? Oh my God, that is brilliant. It really is a completely pointless statement.
Here, I can't believe this. Somehow we've actually inadvertently red-pilled the fucking EU fairy.
But what about workers' rights?
Workers' rights?
Yes, the European Union guarantees rights for all workers.
You mean like every country in the European Union has to follow the same rules?
Yes.
So, like, everyone gets the same minimum wage, the same maternity and paternity leave, the same number of statutory holidays?
Oh, no, not at all. For example, the minimum wage in Bulgaria is just over 200 euro per month, whereas the minimum wage in Luxembourg is about 2,000 euro per month.
The point is that all EU citizens...
They both have 2s in them.
I know. I was trying to focus on pounds.
Country that provides the kind of individual workers' rights that suits that individual best.
So you're saying, that I have the right to take my British passport all the way over to Bulgaria so that I can choose to work for just over £1 an hour?
Exactly.
And likewise, everybody in Bulgaria has the right to bring their passport over here so they can work for at least £7.50 an hour.
Yes, isn't that brilliant?
Well, actually, it seems a little bit unbalanced to me.
Oh, I see. You just don't want any foreign-looking people on your streets, do you?
Hey, we're talking about fucking Bulgarians.
Exactly.
What the fuck is she talking about?
The point is, it's all about...
Okay, let's look.
They don't exactly look foreign.
Yeah,
But if it really is about freedom,
Talking about?
The point is...
fucking Bulgarian.
let's see.
They don't exactly look foreign.
Yeah,
You know.
like white faces, small asses, you know. Pretty much white to me.
Exactly.
What the fuck is she talking about?
The point is, it's all about freedom of movement. That's what's really important.
But if it really is about freedom of movement, yeah, why is it so difficult for people outside the EU to come and work here?
What?
Well, like, if I was an Indian doctor or a Vietnamese engineer or a Nigerian teacher or whatever, and I wanted to bring them valuable skills to the UK, I'd have to go through all sorts of personal assessments and visa applications just to have a chance of getting into the fucking country.
It's pretty clear to me that you just don't like brown people very much.
What the fuck is wrong with her?
Oh, fuck knows, mate.
So, just to clarify, you want to have an open border
I mean, that's pretty interesting.
policy exclusively with a region of the world where almost every citizen is white.
It's all about diversity.
Oh, wait, I've got one. How many people are members of the European Parliament?
I do have that number. The number is...
It's 751.
Thank you. And how many of them are white?
That figure is...
Holy shit, I never noticed that before. Almost every single one of them is white.
Oh, come on. The EU always has been and always will be about cultural and ethnic diversity.
I mean, yeah, but Europe is kind of, you know, it is kind of like white people land, though.
Are you saying that white people don't have culture, Wolf?
I mean, they have culture, but it's, you know, I mean, when it comes to the people that are represented, like, I mean, just look at them. It's all white, and it's just like what the little guy said. Basically, if it's all about freedom of movement, how come people, you know, that do have skills that happen to be outside of, you know, the European Union, you know, they have to deal with a lot of bureaucracy and red tape just to get in the country and apply their skills, you know. So I mean, it's kind of it is kind of a flawed system.
And that is why racists like you hate it so much.
What about that one?
Oh, I don't know. She looks white to me.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Well, imagine my shock.
Oh, fuck off, Paul Joseph Watson. We are trying to have a serious conversation here.
The point is that if Brexit isn't about racism, then how do you explain that in the months after the Brexit vote, we saw a massive increase in the number of race hate crimes? That's simply a fact.
Really?
Yes.
Is it possible that maybe everybody was just encouraged to report anything that they personally perceived as a hate crime, and then those accounts were subsequently registered by the police with no impartial validation?
No.
Is it possible, yeah, that the term hate crime is so loosely defined that it's essentially meaningless?
Now you're just being ridiculous.
Yeah, you're right. It would be a bit like trying to dismiss the massive rise in the number of sexual assaults on Swedish girls by migrant men by saying that the term sexual assault is so loosely defined that it's essentially meaningless.
Exactly. You took the words right out of my mouth.
You fucking idiot.
Wait a
Those are
second.
good.
I just want to comment on the statistic they gave there of the rise in sexual assaults on Swedish girls by immigrant men. if there aren't a lot of immigrant men, there won't be a lot of sexual assault by them. But as that number increases, then would the number of sexual assaults by them not also increase too, proportionally?
Yeah, but here's the thing: with regard to Sweden, there's such a large SJW influence that sexual assault has been brought in it's been brought into such a degree that it's essentially meaningless. It's not even.
Yeah, it's what do you define as sexual assault?
Yeah, it becomes subjective at that point.
Yeah.
Like so the numbers are wildly exaggerated. You know, they're completely taken out of context. Like they're prosecuted even though there's not enough evidence, or even if the person like attest to it actually occurring, you know, or go back on it.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, in the comment with that play that got canceled,
yeah,
the play itself was aimed at students from grade 1 to grade 4.
Okay. Yeah, that probably makes sense. You know, it's just maybe high school or something like that. Probably should have been the best choice to go with.
Yeah.
All right. What else we got? Oh man, I am a jackass, but I can't control myself. Okay, I got a classic I want to play. A man. Okay. It's up there? Yeah, it's up there.
You got your camera on? Huh? Don't touch me, sir. It only costs $35, sir. Punch this man in the mouth, sir. Who are you? None of your business. What do you have? Why are you?
Yeah, this is a reporter interviewing this guy. He's kind of like the reporter that exposes corruption, and yeah, it's this is a good video.
So who's the old guy then?
He's the car dealer.
Oh, okay. And what's the corruption he was exposing here?
Apparently his son got arrested on some pretty bad charges of I think I'm not saying, I don't think embezzlement, or I think stealing from customers. And let's just play the video.
Don't touch me, sir. It only costs $35, sir. Punch this man in the mouth, sir. Who are you? None of your business. And what do you have? Why are you? Don't touch me. This is assault right now. We'll call the police. You don't have to. Good. Let's get him down here. Call them. Are you stealing from customers?
Yeah, I am.
Your son's facing some pretty serious charges, and you seem to be back in business now, in a new place where people don't know you. Don't you dare attempt to go in my business. Don't you dare.
Yeah.
The old guy's the old guy's right. All he has to do is tell that reporter to leave.
Yep. Knocked him the hell out.
Now you better get your shit and get it gone before that man gets here. We'll be called. You'll be arrested for assault.
Go ahead, reporter. Call the police for the guy assaulting you. He told you to get out of his business.
Call the door. No one invited you in there. And you tell us not to go in either. And you just punch me in the face.
Actually, he can tell you. No. No. No.
Me in the face. Yeah,
No.
and I'm gonna punch you again. Hello? No, I called the law, and then he tried to follow me in there. I busted him in the mouth. I'm fixing to bust him again.
You go ahead, sir. If that's what you want to do, you go ahead. You'll be arrested for assault.
You know?
I mean,
No, he won't be.
I mean, see, the thing
He
here
might,
is,
he might get a stiff speaking to, but
I mean, the reporter's kind of stupid in this case because
yeah,
like,
it's because he's antagonizing.
like for the main thing here, I mean, he had his fist like up to your face. I mean, it's like, dude, he doesn't want you around. I mean, you kind of got what you wanted.
When he grabbed the guy by the collar, then yeah, the old guy was in the wrong.
Yeah, I mean,
trying to hit him then.
Yeah.
However, as soon as the reporter then turned around and started following him in the building, now the reporter is escalating the situation.
I mean, here's the thing. Why the fuck would you even follow him? Like, even after he threatened you, what the hell? Obviously, he doesn't want to talk to you.
That should have been the end of the interview there.
I think that would be a big ass sign to leave the guy the hell alone. Like, he doesn't want to engage you. Like you probably just take that as a win and not try to fucking like try to build up on that. I mean, it's just a job. What the hell?
We have it on camera. I don't care what you got on camera. I never say you're such a bunch of low lives to you people anyway. If my son was arrested, 1608 Atlanta Road. He'll do whatever needs to be done.
Yeah. I know. The gentleman who just called you just punched me in the face, and I'm bleeding at this point. I'm a reporter for CBS Atlanta News.
You're gonna be bleeding worse if you don't get off my property.
Yeah, it's always a good one. What do you think of that? I think it's funny as hell.
The reporter's got to learn.
Yeah, I'll be right back. I'm gonna get my plug.
Yeah.
All right, I'm back. Let's see what's on tap right now. So yeah, apparently I was sniped the other day.
Oh, really?
Yeah, by Zulu. Actually, was that Friday? Yeah, it was Friday. Yeah, he like the Zulu kid, hilarious Zulu. He came in like all butthurt and shit like that. You know, apparently he got his feelings hurt in a previous room, and he just felt like he needed some revenge.
Yeah, well, you were also throwing around your satanic images and crap and citing them.
Yeah, but that wasn't even in like that was in a different chat. That had
I know it was a different chat, but they don't see that. They don't see it that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, he did apologize, but I you know, I'm gonna have to think about that for a while.
Yeah. Here's the dumb thing. He's been basically thrown out by the one group he's with, the Clown Car Posse. But then he comes to our group, and we're fine with him. And then he does dickish things like this, which will get him thrown out of this group. It's like, do you not learn?
And the reason he did it was because I added him to my live hangout on Friday.
Yeah.
Like that's the reason he did that. That is actually the stupid part about it, if there's any stupid part to it. It's like, dude, if you don't want to be a part of it, you don't have to come here. You could just go about your business, do something else.
Yeah. But again, it's that salvation issue.
I don't know. I mean, I just really think I just feel when you go fundy like that, like full fundy, you're not doing any favors for yourself.
It's not even full fundy at times.
It's full of something, I can tell you that much. Okay. All right. Got a story out. The Trump administration just lost its what its best chance at legal win the travel ban.
Sorry, you went bloop there with a whole bunch of noises. What travel ban?
By the Trump administration, the Trump travel ban. They just lost their best chance for it, for a legal win.
Okay.
The Trump administration is likely to take its travel ban to the Supreme Court of the United States without a single lower court agreeing that's constitutional. On Thursday, the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals in Maryland upheld a federal district court judge's ruling that barred the Trump administration from banning residents of 6 majority Muslim countries from entering the United States for 90 days. The Fourth Circuit didn't address Trump's attempt to temporarily ban refugees or to overhaul the screening process for future arrivals in the United States. Those parts of the administration's March executive order are on hold thanks to a separate case being considered in the West Coast Circuit. The circuit has heard oral arguments, but in that case hasn't issued its opinion yet. But the Fourth Circuit was at the Trump administration's best hope at a favorable ruling before reaching the Supreme Court. Instead, it suffered the latest, possibly arguably the harshest, in what's becoming an unbroken string of judicial smackdowns over the Trump ban, the travel ban.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you know, they were trying to put it make it sort of a religious issue, and that really wasn't. I mean, we're a secular country. We don't care about that sort of thing here. So yeah, they had a close shot to it, but they kind of fucked up on that. So that's a failed attempt on Trump there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of it?
I think a lot of it's just people rattling cages.
I mean, I don't think it's racist. I think it's kind of xenophobic, but
it's all playing.
Everything
Trump said during his campaign was to play into the hands of the people he wanted to vote for him, and he got the numbers.
Yeah, right.
That's all. It was a numbers game.
Yeah, it was just a pander. I mean, even though he lost the popular vote, he managed to get in there with.
But he still won.
Okay? Yeah,
he still won.
Yeah, I know. Electoral colleges, all that. Yep. Okay, moving on. Let's see what else we got in the. Okay, do we have a crazy people segment?
Yeah.
Okay. The Doctor of Common Sense. So white Mr. Clean.
Do you think all fast food workers should get more than minimum wage? It should be based on something else. Should they get minimum wage? Yeah, sure. They should get more than minimum wage. They want to get $14, $15 an hour. Sure. You think they should? What about the business owners who say we can't afford to pay $14, $15 an hour in September? Figure it out. Figure it out. The business consensus on this. What is you ever go to fast food restaurants like McDonald's, Wendy's, whatever?
Sometimes, not very often.
Yeah, the wind in the background is annoying lightweight, but he's asking people on the street, which I think is a little bit better than what he usually does, than just rant about their opinions. I think in the case of McDonald's getting higher wages, I mean, the minimum wage that's like the basic like minimum you could be paid, right? I mean, in the United States, two-thirds of people who are on welfare are working or have relatives that are working. They're just having their income supplemented by taxpayer dollars. So I think increasing it, at least on a gradual basis, that might be able to, wean them off of public assistance. I mean, I'm just saying, I want people to be able to make enough money to pay for themselves, but not their families. I'd have some value as fast food workers or people who work at the lower levels, or something, be it entry level or not.
Yeah.
Do you believe the people who work there do a good job or a bad job?
Generally, pay attention much. Like usually what we do, we just go.
Do they ever get your order wrong?
Yeah.
So do you believe they should get paid more than minimum wage, which is what's minimum wage now? $7, $8 an hour, or do you think they should get paid $14 or $15 an hour working at McDonald's?
I don't believe they should.
Not 14 or 15. That's excessive, right?
Yes. I think a lot of people study for that. Yeah, it's kind of sort of that.
So they should have at least, exactly.
I think they should have something where they can actually live off comfortably, but not.
What would you consider comfortable? How much is comfortable?
Maybe starting $9
an hour.
Did you just say $39?
I think she said $9 an hour. I mean, I think it's just a matter of like minor adjustments, like on a gradual basis, just something like that.
Yeah, but it sets minimum wage. Minimum wage is set by at least where you are, it's the state.
Yeah.
It's not the employer.
Right. I understand that.
Yeah.
Just standards of living and all that. Just maintain that that aspect.
If you had kids, spanking kids, is it good or bad?
I would spank.
So what's that?
I think it depends on how you do it.
How you do it?
Do it out of anger. It's not a good thing. I could say it's not a good thing. But I don't know. I mean,
everybody in I'm 51. Everybody in my generation was spanked. Would you think you get more respectful now or back?
I don't think kids have ever
been respected.
I don't think they
So they need to be spanked, right?
So there's multiple ways to do it. Right?
There's more ways to do it.
You gotta figure out what's right for yourself.
What's right for yourself? Tell me this then. Minimum wage. I'm sure you've been hearing a debate about minimum wage.
Well, as long, I mean, I believe in punishing your kids. I got some nieces that act up sometimes, but just as long as you don't bash their head in. You know what I mean? As long as they learn the lesson.
Work at fast food restaurants only get paid minimum wage or $14 or $15 an hour.
I hate to say it, on the minimum wage.
On the minimum wage, but it's based on productivity, right?
I agree. Okay. You can't go to McDonald's and say I want this, and then still come out and not get what you ordered.
Because as a businessman, he's looking to make money, right?
Correct.
Why do you think it's so many people who are adamant about people making more than minimum wage? Because as you know, fast food restaurants.
I think it's funny. This guy who prides himself on being a black conservative or whatever, like he talks about people, just going out there and working and trying to build themselves up. But by doing this, he's essentially arguing that people stay on social assistance. Just keep that in mind. This guy at his core is like an ultra Uncle Tom. I mean, that's just the irony in that. Oh, I don't give a fuck, man. I think liberals is bullshit, but we shouldn't give them an increase in their wages, even though they work hard. We should just let them stay on social assistance, just stay on welfare, stay on the government's teat.
Not meant for the head of the household.
Correct. Just because everybody wants more money.
Everybody wants money. For healthcare, do you think everybody should receive healthcare or just those who actually have a job?
I hate to say it, those who have a job.
What restaurants do you normally get?
Texas Roadhouse is probably our favorite one, yeah.
We've got the
But not like, McDonald's
Yeah,
or any of that stuff.
Everybody's been talking about minimum wage. Do you think people that work in some of these restaurants should get more than minimum wage? Or do you think they should? Should it be based on performance, or should it just be based on everybody getting
No, I think it should be based on
performance? Yeah.
and people in fast food restaurants should make definitely more.
She makes
They
make more.
work hard,
They work hard.
long hours.
Some of the business owners are saying they can't afford because the hamburgers. Just say McDonald's. If you think
Nah, I think we kind of got the point of this. Anyway. Okay. 10. Top 10 creepiest alien abductions.
Really?
From abductee stories of an alien hybrid breeding program to ones that may make you realize you may even have been abducted. These are the top 10 creepiest alien abduction stories. Number 10, the Whitley Strieber incident. The popular horror novelist was on a cottage vacation at an isolated cabin in upstate New York when he woke to find an alien standing by his bed. He was levitated into a UFO where he was subjugated to a barrage of medical procedures, including an
Stop it for a minute.
and the insertion of
A barrage of medical experiments. So basically just anal sex. Okay.
Yeah, he just got probed in his ass. Which, I mean, if you're really looking for that, like that extraordinary like barrage of medical experiments, just go on to Craigslist. They'll have a number of medical experiments for you, like just waiting on there.
very long needle into his brain. His book and movie about the encounter, entitled Communion, has made him one of the most famous alien abductees ever. Number 9, the Jesse Long abduction. When he was just 5 years old, Jesse Long and his brother found a flying saucer in a field. Shortly after, a tall alien paralyzed them with some kind of rod. On board, he was inserted with a tracking device and revisited regularly to have invasive procedures performed, including an alien crossbreeding program which allegedly yielded 10 hybrid children. After 34 years, the implant was removed and determined to be of unknown origin. Number 8.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that those kids just had an uncle that was Mr. Bad Touch, like the opposite of E.T.
Charles Hickson and Calvin Parker. Fishing from the pier on Mississippi's Pascagoula River, they witnessed a blue-lit UFO descend over the water. 3 aliens emerged and levitated the paralyzed men into the ship where they were thoroughly examined. After a chilling police interview, the 2 men were unknowingly recorded alone in the room and said, quote, "They better start believing. You see how that damn door come right up? I don't know how it opened, son. I don't know." End quote. Number 7, Frederick Valnich's disappearance.
Whoa, wait, hold on. I didn't pay attention to that
You see
last
how
bit.
that damn to the ship where they were thoroughly examined. After a chilling police interview, the 2 men were unknowingly recorded alone in the room and said, quote, "They better start believing. No."
Yeah, it just sounded like they got drugged and raped. I mean, that's a number of how these alien abduction stories go, right? They fall into unconsciousness, they get abducted and molested. What do you think, Sido?
I wouldn't even say it's molested.
Mm.
End quote. Number 7. Frederick Valnich's disappearance. The young pilot was on a nighttime training flight out of Melbourne, Australia, when he radioed air traffic control to report a large, shiny UFO with green lights following and orbiting him at fantastic speeds. Near the end of the recorded conversation, he reported losing engine power as the UFO approached. His final words were, quote, "It isn't an aircraft," followed by metallic scraping sounds, and then static. No sign of him or his plane was ever found. Number 6. Antonio Villas-Boas.
Okay, so it wasn't an aircraft or anything like that. It could have been a fucking cloud or something.
Yeah.
Could have been anything.
A Brazilian farmer was plowing his fields when a red egg-shaped UFO landed next to him, and a group of aliens dragged him inside. He was stripped naked, covered in gel, and gassed with something that made him violently ill. Then, a female alien sexually seduced him, rubbed her belly, and pointed up, indicating a space birth. He was returned to the field 4 hours later with a case of radiation poisoning that lasted several months.
Wait a minute, we watched this before.
I am not sure about this one.
Yeah, I mean, it just sounds like the usual shit. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Well, the scariest people who ever lived.
There are plenty of evil people throughout history who could lay claim to the title of scariest person ever. But aside from taking lives and spilling blood, what truly makes a person feared? Well, how about a religious monk who could not die? A kidnapper who would tell his victims what fate awaited them? Or perhaps a cold-blooded nurse who may have racked up the highest body count in American history? Yeah, they sound pretty nasty. So let's find out more about them as we investigate the scariest people who ever lived.
Neat.
Grigory Rasputin was a Russian holy man who was as creepy in life as he was when he passed. Throughout his life, the mad monk claimed to have supernatural healing powers, and in 1905, that fame earned him a meeting with the Russian royal Tsar Nicholas II, who was desperately seeking help for his son Alexei, stricken with hemophilia. Incredibly, Rasputin managed to improve Alexei's condition, and he became a firm friend of the royal household thereafter. But as Rasputin's influence grew, so did his appetite for self-destructive behavior. The supposedly religious Grigory was often seen drunk and raging, and he was also a known womanizer, despite his questionable personal hygiene.
I mean, that's Russia for you, am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this guy really does look like a mad Russian. But then again, everyone looks mad there. It's fucking cold.
Rasputin often had to be pulled away from women. Such was his feral nature. And St. Petersburg swirled with rumors that he had assaulted a nun and seduced the Russian Tsarina. Not that these rumors ever stuck, of course, because Rasputin was a very persuasive man. So persuasive that he even convinced the reluctant Tsar Nicholas to lead Russian troops into battle, claiming that Russia would surely lose if he did not. And while the Tsar was away, Rasputin's power increased further. And by this point, his enemies had had enough. Members of the Russian nobility lured Rasputin to a banquet in his name. And while there, he feasted on red wine and cakes laced with enough cyanide to kill several men. But Rasputin was barely affected. So one of the nobles shot him in the back with a pistol. And this too failed to kill him, as upon returning to Rasputin's body several hours later, he suddenly sprang up and shouted, "You bad boy," while lunging at the assassins. Rasputin was shot 3 more times, but remained breathing and able to stand. So he was beaten, castrated, tied up, rolled into a carpet, and thrown into the icy river Neva. Yet still, he persisted. And Rasputin even managed to break his bonds and wriggle free of the carpet before finally succumbing to the bitter depths of the Neva. Rasputin was buried by the Tsarina, but revolutionaries later exhumed his corpse and burnt it in the woods, at which point it sat up due to heat-related contraction, an incident which only furthered his creepy legend. This freakiness lived on through his daughter Marie, who in the 1920s...
What an interesting individual.
Yeah, but there's a lot of stories about Rasputin, which aren't always true.
I mean, I know. But the fact that his legacy sort of went into
yeah,
legend.
but that's all about creating heroes and stuff.
Well,
We're not even necessarily a hero, but the anti-hero. It's creating a narrative.
Well, I mean, he's not really. He's anti-hero or villain or whatever.
Yeah, you're using it to create a narrative.
Yeah.
Winnie's learned that her father's schlong was being used as a fertility shrine by Parisian women. Marie demanded.
No, it was confirmed to be a sea cucumber.
And she kept it in a jar.
Oh, basically the story goes that Rasputin's penis was kept in a jar, and it's in Paris now. Well, it turns out the thing in the jar is not actually a penis; it was a sea cucumber.
Until she passed in 1977, at which point it was discovered that it was actually a sea cucumber, with her father's actual fun rod supposedly still in Russia to this day. 2. Charles Cullen. Tragedy was a theme in Charles Cullen's life from the beginning, with his father having died when he was only 7 months old. Aged 9, Cullen tried to end his own life by drinking chemicals from his toy chemistry set. And when he was 17, his mother was killed while in a car driven by his sister. Cullen attempted to carve out a normal life by joining the Navy a year later, but his tenure was plagued by mental health problems and further acts of self-destruction. In 1987, he started a new career when he successfully applied for a nursing role at St. Barnabas Medical Center in New Jersey. And it was through his position in healthcare that Charles Edmund Cullen may have secured his place in American history. Cullen took the first of many lives in 1988 by administering a lethal overdose to a judge. He is known to have dispatched several other people during his time at St. Barnabas, as well as being suspected of tampering with blood bags, an act which led to dozens more patient fatalities. Cullen transferred to a new facility in 1992 and immediately continued where he'd left off, and this pattern was repeated as he hopped from hospital to rehab centers, with nobody questioning the trail of corpses he left behind. When Cullen was arrested and tried, his excuse was he couldn't bear to see people attempting to save his patients' lives in a brutal, dehumanizing way. He admitted to being responsible for
Yeah. Skip to number 1.
What an angel of death.
Yeah.
The soullessness in his eyes. All right.
story of how they were forced to watch a video detailing the abuses they were about to endure.
Oh, yeah, hang on.
David Parker Ray. David Parker Ray was a convicted kidnapper who used a soundproofed truck trailer to capture, transport, and brutally abuse women in the most horrific manner imaginable. Many of these women were never seen again, but those who survived told a terrifying story of how they were forced to watch a video detailing the abuses they were about to endure. While recordings of these tapes are known to exist, they have never been released publicly for obvious reasons. When he was captured, all manner of gruesome equipment was found in Parker Ray's trailer, and he was also known to use dogs to inflict further humiliation upon his captives. If his victims ever did manage to escape, most never went to the police because David Parker Ray used substances and psychology to brainwash them into submission, with his techniques found to be eerily similar to those used in MK Ultra. Parker Ray was put on trial for the abuse and kidnap of 3 victims who were willing to testify. But unfortunately, after agreeing a plea deal that would have earned him 224 years in prison, David Parker Ray died of a heart attack before he could be sentenced. Parker Ray's girlfriend, Cindy, daughter Glenda, and friend Dennis were also convicted of involvement in these crimes, with Glenda the only of the 3 to be free from prison at the time of writing. So,
Top 3 scariest motherfuckers who ever lived.
Yeah.
All right, one more video.
1 sec here, Wolf.
Okay.
Sorry, I got a phone call here. I gotta go. I have to go get it.
All right, go ahead. I'll load this one.
All right. No, I gotta drop out here too.
All right.
All right. Talk to you later.
All right, cool.
From insects controlled by government computers to real-life zombies being reincarnated to governments experimenting on its own citizens without them knowing. I'm Nathan from Strange Mysteries, and these are the top 10 creepiest science experiments ever performed. Number 10. Real-life zombie dogs. In the 1940s, Russian scientists managed to actually keep the severed heads of dogs alive for several hours by what they claim was an artificial blood circulation system. They even released a video showing the results, and you can see the dogs actually responding to stimuli such as taste, sound, or touch. The Russians weren't the last people to create zombie dogs, though. In 2005, American scientists did something quite similar. First, they killed dogs by literally flushing all the blood from their body. Then, they replaced the blood with a saline solution containing infused oxygen and sugar. After 3 hours, scientists gave the dogs an actual blood transfusion and a shock of electricity. The dogs were resurrected. Some of the dogs had severe medical issues, but many of them were about the same as they were when they were alive previously. The scientists hoped their research could one day be used to revive people whom lost blood too quickly in some sort of injury before help could arrive. Perhaps we could resurrect people who have been dead for several hours in the future.
It's actually pretty interesting. I remember hearing about the dog experiment, the dog head experiment of Russia. I didn't hear about this particular variation of the experiment. It's interesting. As long as the dogs are being treated humanely and the results are with impartial validation. So, yeah, I'd like to see what they come up with in the future.
But would they be a zombie then? Number 9. Android insects controlled by the government. Scientists at the University of California have actually discovered a way to create android beetles. Yep, real beetles with wings that they can now control with their computers. They place a small microchip within the beetle which allows them to make the beetle do whatever they want, as well as get sensory feedback from its visual system and other senses that beetles have. The Department of Defense is hoping to use this sort of technology asset to assist with search and rescue missions and for overall government surveillance. An android insect army controlled by the government. How does that sound? Number 8. The weight of the soul.
Yeah, the with regard to the Android Beetle, I'm not surprised. That it is pretty much small to work with, a small little model you can base the technology on. So it's not really surprising that you start off with something simple and you go to more complex stages. That's kind of interesting, like a technological evolution of controlling organisms in that way.
In 1901, back when medical research was a bit less ethical, Dr. Duncan McDougall wanted to prove that the human soul actually had mass and was subsequently measurable. In an extremely controversial experiment, Dr. McDougall placed 6 patients who were in the process of dying on a specially made scale. As soon as the patient died, Dr. McDougall found that each patient seemed to lose on average about 21 grams permanently, and that this cannot be accounted for by the loss of any sort of liquids or gases from the body. Dr. McDougall tried the same experiment on 15 dogs following their death. No change in weight was recorded. He admitted that more research needed to be done, but changed his attention to trying to photograph the soul actually leaving the human body. Unfortunately, though, he passed away in 1920 without any further breakthroughs. Today, this experiment could never be performed and thus corroborated due to intense ethical issues. So we're all just left wondering, does the soul really weigh 21 grams? Number 7. Mixing spider and sheep cheese.
No. That's the whole weighing of the soul thing is bullshit. At least likely bullshit.
Scientists were actually able to insert the genes of spiders into goats, so that the goat's milk would then contain the protein responsible for making spider silk. Scientists were then able to harvest the goat's milk for spider silk, which they hope to use to enhance products such as artificial limbs and bulletproof vests. Number 6. The U.S.
True and cool.
Britain and other countries test biological warfare out on their own citizens on a large scale.
Oh my God, don't. Oh. I'll have to look up on that.
On their own citizens on a large scale. There's quite a bit of documented evidence of countries guinea pigging their own citizens without them knowing. For example, in 1950, the U.S. Navy sprayed large amounts of a bacteria known as Serratia marcescens over the people of San Francisco. At the time, they thought the bacteria was harmless, but several people experienced an illness with flu-like symptoms, and at least one man died. In Britain, between 1955 and 1963, in the, quote, the fluorescent particle trials, planes dropped massive amounts of zinc cadmium sulfide on its residents. They want to know what would happen if their country was attacked by biological warfare. Afterwards, exhaustive research was done so that they could be absolutely sure that the chemical they dropped was safe after they had dropped it. These are just 2 of many large-scale unethical experimentation embedded in humans.
That's fucked up.
RFIDs, or radio frequency identification chips, have already been around for quite some time. There are services that will embed a computer chip into your pet to help identify them to strangers, as well as help you track them. Yes, that's right. By injecting a small chip into your pet, you can locate them via GPS, know what they're doing, and know really whatever else technology can stuff into a chip. Sounds nifty, right? Well, until the idea of putting chips like these in humans comes along.
Yeah, invasion of privacy. I get.
In number 4, two-headed dog.
Yeah, the last bit. It's kind of interesting. You know, making sure your pet is found. I don't know how you get it into humans. I think that might be a serious invasion of privacy, but we'll have to see about that. You know how that works in the law and order.
In 1955, in Russia, Dr. Vladimir P. Dimitrov grafted the head of one smaller dog onto the torso of another larger dog. It took Dr. Dimitrov quite a few tries before he got it right, but he finally did. The two-headed dog was able to eat as well as drink from either of its two mouths. The resulting two-headed dog the doctor had made actually lived for 29 days and died due to the larger dog's body rejecting the new head. According to a January 1955 issue of Time magazine, in an article entitled Transplanted Head, began, quote, in the Soviet Oganik, Giorgio Bloch describes a sensational exhibit at a recent meeting of the Moscow Surgical Society. On the platform close to the guests of honor stood a large white dog, wagging its tail. From one side of its neck protruded the head of a small brown puppy. As the surgeons watched, the puppy's head bit the nearest white ear. The white head snarled. End quote. Number 3. You should question authority.
Yeah, it's creepy.
As you'll soon learn, the CIA may have been working a bit too hard on their mind control project. Apparently, if you want someone to do something, you just need someone with enough authority to ask them. In this experiment, the results are much creepier than the methods. In 1966, Charles Hoffling, a research psychiatrist, conducted an experiment where he tested the relationships between nurses and physicians. Hoffling had a fake doctor call real nurses during the night shift and instruct them to give patients twice the maximum dosage of an unapproved drug, something that nurses shouldn't be doing. Frighteningly, 21 out of the 22 nurses actually followed the instructions. The nurses fully knew the drug was unapproved and the maximum dosage. It was also against hospital policy to follow any doctor's orders, especially those from ones they didn't know, over the phone. Luckily, the drug the nurses thought they were administering to patients was just saline solution, labeled as the unapproved drug in the experiment. Interestingly, when a different group of 22 nurses were asked what they would have done in the same situation, nearly all of them said they would not have complied with the order.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing. That's the danger of simplicity. People following orders unquestionably without any kind of neutral way of determining whether or not what they were doing was good or bad for other people. Yeah, that is scary, speaking in terms of psychology. But yeah, moving on.
Prisoners anyway, they decided they may as well conduct experiments on them, and thus began any kind of anesthesia. Ugh. Their goal was to understand these diseases and how they progress better. That's not all they did, though. Number 1, Project MK71. What's creepy about the Sino-Japanese War? The Japanese had collected a large number of prisoners of war, which mostly included Chinese prisoners. Since they were going to execute the prisoners anyway, they decided they may as well conduct experiments on them, and thus began sending them to Unit 731, where they were literally referred to and viewed as human logs. Horrible experiments were conducted on these prisoners of war, such as infecting them with tuberculosis, anthrax, and other deadly forms of bacteria, and then performing a vivid vivisection on them, which is basically a dissection while the person is still alive without administering any kind of anesthesia.
Wow, that is beyond fucked. That is really against Geneva Convention. Just reprehensible. Irreprehensible.
Their goal was to understand these diseases and how they progress.
And their research was so valuable, they were granted immunity from being tried for war crimes in exchange for it. Whoa. Okay.
Project MK Ultra. Project MK Ultra, also known as the CIA's mind control program, was a project that began in the 1950s with the goal of understanding how to, well, control people's minds. They conducted experiments on unwitting US and Canadian citizens, many of which had no idea they were being tested at all, in an effort to figure out which, if any, drugs, especially LSD and or techniques such as hypnosis or various forms of torture, could be used to gain intelligence or weaken an individual for other means through mind control. A large part of the project was the CIA using front organizations and things like prostitutes to administer LSD to people, even normal American citizens, without them knowing, and just seeing what happened. Its scope of projects was limited quite a bit in 1964 and completely stopped in 1973. The CIA tried to destroy a large amount of its evidence, but a large part of it became available due to the Freedom of Information Act and special Senate hearings to investigate the CIA's activities. When the government decided to begin investigating itself.
Yeah, that is. I mean, yeah, that is public now. Yeah, I am grateful for the Freedom of Information Act, but yeah, that's just shady as hell. Just taking people and trying to mind control them, like off the streets. Yeah, there really needs to be just more objectivity on that sort of level. If we're talking about people being free and having human rights or civil liberties protected. But yeah, that I would say that was an interesting video. I think I'm gonna do more research on those kinds of vids for the shows I put out. But yeah, that was that was pretty decent, pretty interesting to look at. But anyway, I think this has gone well. This has been a pretty decent show. All right, this has been Wolf King, Web Secular America. Peace out. If you like this video, you know what to do. Dare to know and hail Satan. Good night or good day. Whatever time zone you're in. Who gives a fuck? Bye.